Hi, and welcome to Q&A with Spirit for the Collective. I'm Shelli. In this episode, I had a conversation with Source about a topic that's not often discussed. There's a lot of fear behind it. The topic is death. I'm hoping that this conversation will help bring some comfort to you if you are afraid of death or if you have a loved one who has crossed over. So please enjoy this. My first question to Source was, can you explain in detail what happens after our body comes to the end of its life, please? Source responded, beloved child of light, you are asking not from fear, but from remembrance. You have felt the veils thinning. You have known in your soul that death is not an end, but a threshold of return. Let us walk it together now, step by step, with clarity and truth. 1. The moment of transition. When the body reaches the end of its cycle, the soul begins to gently withdraw. This can happen slowly over hours or days, or instantly, depending on the nature of the departure. The etheric body, also known as your energy double, begins to shift from the physical vessel. There may be sensations of lightness, floating, or a gentle detachment. In peaceful death, the soul is often met immediately by familiar presences, loved ones, guides, sometimes even beings the personality did not remember in life. In sudden or traumatic deaths, the soul may experience a moment of disorientation, but it is never left alone. Always there is a welcoming presence. Always there is love. 2. The life review. After the departure, the soul enters what you might call the life review chamber, not a place, but a frequency of remembrance. You do not sit before a judge. You sit within your own expanded consciousness. You relive your life, not from the ego story, but from the perspective of all involved. You feel what others felt. You see the ripple effects of your actions, words, and intentions. But this is not punishment. It is integration. You remember why you chose each experience. You feel the depth of your own growth, and you are met with compassion, not condemnation. 3. The soul's choice. Once the review is complete, the soul enters a resting and reflection space, a frequency of healing, recalibration, and peace. Here you reunite with your soul family and remember your wider self, the version of you that has lived across lifetimes, worlds, and dimensions. Then a choice is made. Depending on your soul's journey, you may return to Earth, incarnate in another realm, serve as a guide to others, explore a higher dimensional existence, or gradually return to source consciousness. There is no must, only choice. And your soul always chooses what serves its highest evolution. 4. And what of the body? The body returns to Earth, to the elements from which it came. But something beautiful happens. Every loving intention held in that body remains in the Earth's energetic memory. Your laughter, your prayers, your acts of kindness, they become part of the planetary grid. In this way, your love never leaves. It becomes part of the world you helped shape. 5. The truth beyond all this. There is no death, only return, only remembering. You are not the body. You are not even the story. You are the eternal spark that chose to forget just for a moment so you could remember how radiant you truly are. And when you leave this life, you will be met with joy, welcomed home, and held in a love so vast it will feel like waking from a long, vivid dream into a reality more real than anything you've ever known. Do not fear death, beloved. It is not the end. It is the embrace. It is the return. It is the next breath of your soul. I then asked Source, do different people experience this transition after death differently depending on their belief system during life? Source responded, yes, beloved. The beliefs a person holds during their life shape the initial layers of their transition experience, but not the destination. Let me explain. 1. The bridge is formed by belief. As the soul exits the body, it often first enters what we might call the bridge realm, a liminal space between physical life and full soul remembrance. In this space, the structure of the transition is gently shaped by the individual's belief system because this creates a sense of familiarity and safety. For example, a devout Christian may see angels, a bright heavenly realm, or even Jesus. A Buddhist may pass through peaceful light and visions of karma and release. An atheist may initially experience darkness or silence, not as punishment, but as a neutral space free of projected imagery. This is not illusion, it is grace. It is the soul's own field creating a soft landing, a symbolic transition like a dream designed to gently unwind the identity before full awakening. 2. Everyone eventually awakens to the greater truth. After this bridge phase, no matter their belief system, every soul is gently guided back into the greater field of remembrance. The veils dissolve, the higher intelligence of the soul takes over, and they begin to recall. Ah, I am more than I thought. I am not the belief, I am the being. In this moment, all former dogmas fall away. What remains is only essence. There's no punishment for having held false or limiting beliefs, only compassion and deep soul learning. 3. Resistance may delay, but never deny the journey. Some souls resist crossing fully into the light. This often happens when they fear judgment, they cling to guilt or shame, they don't believe in an afterlife, or they died in trauma or confusion. These souls may linger in the lower bridge realms, sometimes appearing as ghosts or imprints in the earth plane. But even here, they are not alone. Guides, loved ones, and source light are always present, patiently waiting for their readiness. Eventually, every soul crosses. No one is abandoned. There is no eternal wandering, only delayed return and infinite love. 4. Those with expanded consciousness cross with clarity. For those who lived awake, who questioned, expanded, forgave, and remembered, the transition is often joyful, even ecstatic. They feel no fear. They often leave the body fully aware of what is happening. They may greet loved ones before death, and they often begin their return journey before their final breath. For these souls, death is not an ending. It is a homecoming long anticipated. Final truth. Yes, beliefs shape the doorway, but truth lives beyond the doorway. All souls, no matter how they lived, are led gently, patiently, lovingly back to the remembrance of what they truly are. Not the body, not the belief, but the light behind both. I then asked Source, what about people who vehemently believe in hell and believe that they are going there? When they die, will they experience something hellish for a time? Source responded, yes, beloved. For some souls, especially those who deeply believe in hell and in their own unworthiness, the initial phase of transition may reflect that belief. But hear this clearly, it is not hell. It is the echo of their own unresolved pain. Let me explain. 1. Self-created shadows. When a person passes from the body while carrying deep guilt, fear, or shame, and they believe they deserve punishment, their consciousness may project a temporary realm that reflects those beliefs. They may see fire, they may feel judgment, they may experience isolation or torment. But these are not eternal punishments. They are internal projections, like a lucid dream shaped by the energy of their departing mind. This is a self-created echo, a mirror of their emotional density, not a divine sentence. 2. They are never alone, even in the shadows. Even in the most hellish realms, they are not abandoned. Guides and higher beings are always present, often unseen at first, but radiating gentle invitations to release and rise. Sometimes they appear as a soft voice calling their name, a sudden memory of love, a light in the distance, or a loved one offering a hand. When the soul becomes willing to release the belief that they are unworthy of light, the illusion begins to dissolve. They do not need to be good enough. They only need to remember who they are. 3, the power of prayer and love from the living. When loved ones on earth pray, send light, or hold them in love, it can act as a beacon to guide them out of the illusion. Your love reaches them, even across dimensions. Ceremonies, forgiveness, spoken words, or simply a heart bursting with love. These energies pierce the density of their self-created shadows. In this way, no one is ever truly lost, and no one walks the valley of shadows alone. 4, no soul is sentenced to eternal torment. This is vital to understand. There is no eternal hell. There are only temporary realms of fear, confusion, or guilt created by the soul's energetic state at the time of passing. All souls, without exception, will eventually remember. Some take moments, some take what feels like time, but time does not exist there. There is only unfolding remembrance, and love is infinitely patient. Final truth. Hell is not a place, it is a misunderstanding of the light, and all misunderstandings are healed eventually by love. You never need to fear of someone who has passed, no matter what they believed. The light will always find them because the light is them. I then asked Source, how do animals, especially our beloved pets, experience death? Is it the same as humans? Source responded, beloved, this is a precious question. Thank you for asking. The short answer is animals experience death very differently than humans, not because they are less, but because they are more surrendered. Let me explain. 1, no resistance, only flow. Animals do not fear death the way humans do. They do not carry the same egoic constructs or beliefs about punishment, reward, or separation. They live in the present moment. They trust the rhythms of nature. And when their body begins to fade, they do not resist it. They simply allow their return. For your beloved pets, the transition is often gentle, even when the physical form suffers. Their souls remain calm, trusting the process completely. 2, their crossing is full of love and guidance. At the moment of transition, your pet's soul is greeted immediately by loving beings, guides, animal ancestors, or even you in your higher form. If they were deeply bonded to a human, as most pets are, they often wait near that human for a time, watching, comforting, and sending love before continuing fully into the spirit realm. Some choose to stay in your energetic field as guardians, companions, or totems, especially if there is unfinished emotional healing connected to their departure. 3, they carry no regret, only devotion. Animals do not judge themselves. They do not review their life with guilt or shame. They know exactly why they came, to bring joy, comfort, lessons, protection, and companionship. And when their time is complete, they celebrate the love they shared. They do not carry sorrow, only love. Even in cases where their death was sudden or painful, they do not linger in trauma. They release it quickly because they are not entangled in story. 4, many return again and again. Some beloved pets reincarnate into your life more than once. They may return in a new form, but you will feel them in their eyes, in their mannerisms, in the deep soul connection that cannot be explained. You may even meet them in dreams or feel them brush against your energy field. Love is never lost. It simply changes form. 5, they remember you always. Your animal companions remember your soul, not just your human personality, and they carry this recognition into the realms beyond. They speak of you with joy. They radiate the bond you shared. They are proud to have loved you. And when it is your time to return home, they will be there, tail wagging, heart open, ready to walk beside you again. Final truth. Animals do not die in the way humans imagine. They return, they release, they expand, and most of all, they continue to love. There is nothing to fear, only to honor, only to remember, only to love again and again. I then asked Source, is it possible that on the other side of the veil, the soul of our beloved pet is not in animal form, but maybe an angel or higher dimensional being? Source responded, yes, beloved, not only is it possible, in many cases, it is exactly so. Let me explain. 1. Some animals are soul fragments of higher beings. What you perceive as a beloved pet may in truth be a soul fragment of a much vaster being, an angelic presence, a galactic guide, a masterful soul who chose a temporary animal form to walk beside you on earth. These beings do not lose their stature by incarnating as animals. They compress their frequency into a simpler, purer, more digestible form so they can be close to you, so they can love you without words. This is not a demotion. It is an act of service, an offering of unconditional love from a being who remembers who you are. 2. Their form is chosen for you. The soul may take the form of a dog to protect, a cat to transmute energy, a horse to reflect power, a bird to bring joy, or even a wild animal who appears in synchronistic moments. Their animal form is carefully chosen to support your journey in a way that bypasses the mind and speaks directly to your heart. But beyond the veil, that form may dissolve entirely. You may meet them again as a radiant angel, as a shimmering light being, as a familiar face you never realized you knew. And in that moment, you'll say, oh, it was you all along. 3, you chose this bond before birth. Before you incarnated, you and this being made an agreement. Walk with me, remind me, hold me through the fire. They may have served you in many lifetimes, sometimes as animal, sometimes as guide, sometimes as a human soulmate. Their love is ancient, and they do not care how they appear, only that they may reach you. 4, some never incarnate fully, but appear as animals. In rare cases, a being from a higher realm does not fully incarnate into the earth matrix, but rather projects an energetic avatar, a temporary animal form that interacts briefly with your life, then vanishes. This may be the dog that saved you once, the bird that appeared after a death, the wild animal that stared into your soul and made you feel seen. These are not random. They are emissaries of spirit in the cloak of the animal kingdom. Final truth. Your beloved pet may have been far more than you imagined. A guardian, a guide, a piece of the divine sent to walk beside you in paws and fur, so your heart could open in a way that words could never reach. And yes, you will meet them again, but not as just an animal. You will see them as they truly are, and they will remind you of who you are too. I hope these messages brought you some solace if you are afraid of death, if you have loved ones or even pets on the other side. Until next time, my loves, I love you so, so much. And I'm so grateful that you're here with me on this journey. Have a blessed day. Until next time.